G'day everyone, Dunk Dad here again on the Time Value Trust podcast. Got a few things to cover today, and in keeping with the first podcast that we made, I'm also adding a video to this one today. So you'll be able to catch up on YouTube. There'll be a few picture type references that I want to make. So if you're just listening to the audio, you'll have to check out the YouTube clip to find out what I'm talking about. Otherwise, just imagine it in your brain and you'll be fine. Just keeping on with the how it doesn't cost a lot to start a podcast theme that we had in the last episode. Just before I get into the meat of what we want to do today, I'll just let you know this has been recorded through the front camera on a 9-year-old iMac. So you do not need a lot of extra equipment. You've probably got enough equipment already to do exactly what I'm doing. Here I am in my bedroom. Sun's coming in through the window. It's 3 o'clock on a Thursday afternoon. I'm off work on holidays off my normal job. You can see I've got my doggies here on the bed. There's 3 of the 4 dogs here on the bed. So occasionally I'll get a snout come under my elbow or something and they all want to pat. So just forgive me while I do that. The only other piece of equipment that I'm using today, no headphones, no earbuds, just talking at the screen, is I have one light, a $50 light up on a stand that shines on the wall in front of me and sort of fills in a bit of light on my face. And I'll just switch it off and show you the difference. So no light, that's purely just sunlight coming in the window. Cheap light on a stand just gives that extra bit of filling in of the shadows so you can see excuse me, what I'm doing. So that's about it as far as making a podcast or even a video log or video cast or however you want to say that. I will take this video, put it to YouTube, take the audio from it and put it to podcast, which can easily be found at timevaluetrust.com. There's my free podcast location, and it'll all be edited with iMovie, which is on the iMac anyway. So very low budget. I can make it better, and I've got a few items, let's say, to make it a little bit better, but this is good. This is enough. Until you've got a huge amount of followers, this is more than enough. So anyway, that's the how-to. Excuse me. Why we're here. Firstly, this is an ongoing project. I want it to keep going for quite some time. What we want to do is give you a bit of an idea of what journey I'm going through at the minute and what we're building up towards. So it's been a really good process. I'm about 4 or 5 sort of sections of the process in, so I've got 4 or 5 episodes to make. So we'll start right from the start. I hired a coach. Why did I hire a coach? It's not cheap, but I knew there was something inside that was blocking me from succeeding to the levels that I know I'm capable of and have the skills to succeed to. But I couldn't work out why. It's not about failure. I know how to fail. I've survived failure. I know it doesn't kill you. I've survived a number of attempts at business. I've survived almost going bankrupt. I survived the divorce. I can do that, but it was the prospering, it was the thriving, it was the success side of things that was sort of blocked by something, and I couldn't put my finger on what. And for some time, I've kind of thought in my head, if only there was like an entrepreneur's coach that deals with that kind of stuff. Not many people would understand it. A regular sort of counsellor, unless they have exposure to the business world, isn't going to understand that's blockage at a success type level. So anyway, I was conscious about it, and I wasn't really actively searching. I had a few people contact me through some various groups that I was on online. Just cold call. They were in the same group. We interacted a couple of times. I didn't sort of look who they were. Oh, this person's a coach to entrepreneurs, or this person's a get unstuck coach, or whatever. Just through normal personal interaction, did I feel that I needed to get something unstuck. Unstuck was the thing that the only way I could describe where I was at. So I needed to get unstuck. And lots of people apparently use exactly that same word. There's some sort of blockage that they can't remove, can't identify, have heart difficulty then getting unstuck. So what did I have to do? it was a slow process because it took months, but it wasn't a complex process. I had one lady reach out to me directly. I'd made a comment in one of the groups. Oh, yeah, you sound like you're having issues with something, this and that. Would you like some help? Sure. So we began a conversation around what she did and how she did it. And it didn't quite gel. Like, it didn't seem right. It was a lot of money for me. But that wasn't the issue. It was just, it didn't. She was all about doing a quick fix. It was like unplug the drain in one go. And that's fine. You unplug a drain and the water drains out and things are all right. But you haven't got rid of the reason why the drain clogged in the first place. So that didn't ring right with me. I then later heard that lady interviewed on an accompanying podcast to the group that I was in. And she did some of her work with one of the hosts of the podcast live on the podcast. And, they found this and they found that. And it's like, bing, you're wonderful, you're all fixed. And I'm like, yep, I'm really glad I didn't go down that road because that's not me. Anyway, a little while later, same thing. Got talking to somebody on the group that I'm in, or was in, and started to, again, have this discussion around being stuck and how to get unstuck. And the person that I ended up running with as a mentor and a coach wasn't the hard sell press to try and make you commit the first time you had contact. We interacted for a little bit. We talked about the possibilities. We talked about what I was doing, what she was doing, how they may work as a thing. Why don't we get on a phone call and have a chat? And so that's what I did. My experience of that was really good because it was just helped me get to know who that person was. And I didn't do a lot of due diligence behind who she was or what she did or who our other clients were. In all honesty, I just found that because we gelled just talking to each other at a sort of very plain human type level over Zoom, which is all you can do these days. You can't just drop in at the coffee shop as easily, and particularly this lady lives on the other side of the world. That doesn't make it any easier either. But Zoom works, and we did all our thing, and at the end of the phone call or Zoom call, it was like, well, I don't hate you, and I think I can work with you. How about we see what we can do? Let's go think about this, think about that, and let's have another call in a few days and take it to the next step. So it was really, that introductory call was just a very simple getting to know who the other side of it was. And it was as much for me as it was for her. I don't want to work with people I don't like or can't get on with, and neither does she. She doesn't want to work with somebody that doesn't get on with her. Anyway, by the end of that first phone call, we seemed to be getting on okay at a personal level. So the follow-up was that we then did a follow-up call, and we talked about a bit of my background, went into a few details, what I'm trying to achieve, where I'm at now. So a bit of history, bit of current news, but also focusing on what comes next. What do you really want to do? What have I got to do to make the next step? And what's the major problem? And then we started to talk about this concept of being stuck. So in that process, we talked about briefly, very overview, 30,000 foot type view, as some people say, which for me as a former pilot, I understand. It's very easy for me to picture being high up, looking over the big picture. Sometimes I miss some of the details when I get down lower, but that's me. I know that as the weakness of myself, so I'll staff that when it becomes an issue, if it becomes an issue. So I did the second call, and that was much more around exactly what was my history, exactly where I'd been, and putting a plan in place to go forward and say, well, this is what we'll do, step by step, and I'll try and do a podcast in the future for each of those major steps. And also talking about the money. And I'll bring up the money. Oh, sorry, here comes a dog. This is my doggie. One of my doggies. This is Becky. She's the mother. She's 9, aren't you? Anyway, sorry about that. She's got a very cold nose that she jams under your wrist or under your elbow to try and get a pat. In the background there, you can see Bill scratching himself. And there's another one on the bed. I've got 4 dogs. 3 of them are on the bed behind me. Anyway, sorry about segue. Coming back to the money, the amount of money I'm not going to mention because it's not relevant. I was offered a 12-week program or a 1-year program, and without even hearing what the prices were, I knew that the 12-month process is what I needed. I needed not just a quick fix, but I need somebody over time to, once we get through what we're doing first up, to keep having someone who thinks like me, understands how I think, to be there to help out as we go forward over the 12 months. So anyway, then she told me the price, and I went in my head, ooh, yes, okay, that's going to be a challenge. But if we hit the targets that we're aiming at, then it won't be an issue at all. So that's good and bad. It was a bit of a head shake and a yep, let's do it. We worked out deposits and payments and all the rest of it. We've had a few issues around the various bank accounts I've got, trying to get one that would easily work from her system in the other side of the world and to my system here. Anyway, we got it sorted. Took a little bit. So we're on our way. So that's been my experience of finding a coach and sort of a little bit of the process of how it went around. Now, what I can say to summarise all that is to bring it to a point is to say to you guys, if you're out there and you're anything like me and you want to be a business owner or an entrepreneur or whatever term you want to use, get a coach, get a mentor. It doesn't matter if it's someone you pay or Uncle Bill that's an accountant and he's willing to help you along the way, but make sure that he actually does have some experience that will help you and some skills that will help you in whatever area you want to work in. For me, I'm right into the business side of things, and you'll see as we go on the sort of self-improvement, mental health, self-development process that we're going through at the start of her processes really isn't me. It wasn't me. I kept thinking to myself, oh, do I have to do this? Can't we just get to the money bit and make some business happen? But as soon as I think that, that's when I think, well, I probably do need to do this because I'm thinking that way. And it turned out that way. But anyway, don't go into that too far. That's for the later on episodes. And we'll get into more of that later. So yeah, I can tell any of you, get help. Not just quit smoking, although if that's your thing, that's fine too. But particularly to those entrepreneur would-bes out there like myself. I'm a third-generation entrepreneur. I haven't had a lot of success in my various business efforts, but that's going to be different in the years to come because I've got a different mindset around it, and I'm changing my mindset even as we speak and learning new things and new tools and some interesting little skills. So I'll keep all those for the following episodes. You can find this on YouTube. If you search for me, my handle online is Duncdad, D-U-N-C-D-A-D. If you search that in Google, you'll pretty much only find me. I don't think anybody else has got it that I've found yet. I'm on all the socials. I've got. You can message me through any of those services. Anyway, catch you next time. Bye-bye.